Welcome back to another video. With book 16 on the rise, it's been up to us fanmings to decode all of Tui's teases. From a protagonist reveal, setting, and even previews read aloud at the fests, there's been a lot of opportunities to learn more about the hybrid prince, the kickoff to the 4th Wings of Fire arc. And yet, we're still missing so much information on what's to come. Who will the antagonist of the novel be? And how might Sora, Umber, and others evolve as we travel somewhere entirely uncharted? And well, in times like these, that's where it's up to us. I asked you guys on my community tab last week to input your theories on book 16, and I was not disappointed by y'all's incredible ideas. So, I'll be reading the most interesting predictions in today's video. But before we begin, a huge shout out to my patrons. Northern95, Thistle, Noobto, Pyronuke, Avril, Pancake, Escarada, Adequin, Alex Cleaver, Shadowhunter, That One Seawing, Moonclaw, Isaac, Iris, and Minecraft Wiz 9. Thank you all so much for supporting me. You guys are seriously the best, and I'm glad to welcome more of you. Your support means the absolute world to me, really. I cannot overstate that enough. Links to social medias are in the description down below. Anyways, without further ado, let's get into the video. The first theory absolutely blew my mind, and it makes so much sense. The fluffy stargazer said that maybe the island is enchanted and appears only to dragons who need refuge and safety, most commonly hybrids, outlaws, and other characters who've been outcasted. Once they get there, everything seems safe and perfect, but they eventually learn they can't actually leave. I love this so much. Imagine it's like one giant cult, and Umber and Sora have no idea what they're walking into until they've already been made stuck. BlackWolf38 shared a similar thought in this regard. And I think it's an incredibly cool concept to play around with. And all of this would explain why we don't see these two MudWing sibs during any point after Moon Rising. They're literally trapped somewhere they shouldn't be. I wonder who'd find them, or discover they're actually missing, and not just on the run. But that's only an idea. A lot of you guys were speculating on what dragon tribes Mulberry might be. Some said he could be a leaf sky, rain sky, mud beetle wing, or even something entirely different and not thought of yet. Mulberry may even be a tribrid, who knows? I do love the thought of him and Beryl being connected to Scarlet, so Tui could always mess around with that. Mulberries themselves are edible black or red plants that grow on trees, meaning it's pretty vague what this dragon may be. So, as for now, the ancestry of Mulberry remains a mystery. Crazy_Brick1 had something interesting to add to the end of their theory. They believe, and I agree, that there will be a time jump between books 16 and 17. Imagine if we got left on a cliffhanger that proves the next book has to take place in the future. If we're getting that they get trapped on the island ending, then it could be years of Sora and Umber under Beryl's control, or even someone else's, before somebody catches wind of it. To align us back into the future of the continents, I could very well see something like that happening. Brightburn1997 even thinks the villain of Arc 4 may be somehow related to Freedom. If that happens, I'd be so curious just how, and I wonder why they think so. But it's a really cool thought, and would tie well into the scorching being a big aspect of the Flames of Hope. Star_loves murder drones commented that they think Sora is going to end up killing another dragon, prompting, or being the climax of, some massive sibling angst between her and Umber. And well, I think that second part is definitely inevitable. Even though they're loyal MudWing sibs, there has to be some tension present throughout the book. Sora just killed and wounded several dragons, and the adrenaline of all that probably hasn't exactly worn off, even if Umber tries to hide his own feelings to make Sora not feel worse. The idea of her killing somebody else is very interesting, and I wonder if the character will go down that path, or if she's seemingly done harming dragons for good. It may be a temptation, though, or something she believes she's forced to do at one point. We'll see how it goes. This user pointed out something very fascinating that honestly didn't even register to me. If there's a new animus introduced in this novel through some kind of mention or hint, they'd have to have died before the events of Talons of Power. Remember, Darkstalker casted a spell to make all living animi appear by his throne, which gave us our first tease of 𝙈𝙤𝙁𝙀 III. If we learn about any other magical talons, that character would need to be already deceased, or have it happen by the time Darkstalker is free. I never thought about that. Spider Parades gave a theory that I'm also obsessed with, and it has to do with the island again. They said they'd love if the characters on it had some sort of spiritual or religious connection to the land, only for it all to actually be fake, like in a Wizard of Oz man behind the curtain situation. That would be sick, and something I'm totally down for too. Imagine Beryl, or whoever they potentially even worship there, holds no true power, similar to what happened with the Book of Clearsight twists. MudWing Sapphire shared a prediction many fans have agreed with, and that its mulberry could be the missing egg from the Book 8 prologue. Remember, when Scarlet had all the unhatched dragonets in the kingdom be burned by a young peril, there was an egg that was missing. The guards said they'd find it, but we never heard about that situation again. What if Beryl was related to Scarlet, and hid her runty egg among the rest to disguise it from the queen? Since there'd be a hybrid inside, that'd be a necessary task until she could easily slip away with Mulberry. I mean, it explained why Scarlet hated her so much, and was incredibly calculated with the plan to take Beryl down. She knew the power her relative held, and the blasphemous dragonet she hoped to hatch in their line. Whether Mulberry ends up being part Leafwing, Beetlewing, Rainwing, MudWing, or anything else, I think it's safe to say it's going to be an awesome twist or plot point. This fan thinks that Sora may try to justify the deaths of Big Tail and Cornelian by saying they deserved it, which I could also see happening to some extent. Shells and Bees wants Arc4 to focus on the Wings of Fire Afterlife at some point, and I agree. Imagine if on the island we got to see these hybrids or other strange dragons have some sort of connection with their ancestors, like how the Navi in Avatar can sync up with the spirit tree. It'd show us the history of these hybrids, lost tribes, or outcasts, and do so in such a unique way. Or maybe they just have detailed scrolls on their idea of an afterlife or ancestral history. Pyronuke is definitely right here about what'll happen in the Hybrid Prince, no matter what. There's going to be something introduced here that completely retextualizes the world of WAF, and fans will either love it or hate it. I can predict that as well. It'll probably have to do with hybrids, tribrids, or even a lost tribe, whether that be the Beetlewings or something entirely new. There are lots of ways this could go, and I have my fingers crossed and trust placed that the way we begin the fourth arc, and potentially even final one, is a good start worthy of the wait. It's obvious that a lot awaits us for book 16, and we're really only getting started, as the cover and much more are on the way soon. But that's pretty much it for this video. What do you guys think about all the theories I highlighted? Do you find yourself agreeing with any, and do you have ones of your own? Let me know down below. Thank you all so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye.